Hi everybody, my name is Hector Navarro. I'm a host and producer. I was briefly in the documentary. I just want to tell everybody tonight, the energy in here is insane. I cannot remember the last time I've seen a screening for anything with this kind of energy. This was amazing. What a love letter for fans. I have not felt that scene as a fan since I saw Galaxy Quest. So thank you guys so much.
Or not here. I think it's important that I have the microphone. So this is musical chairs?
Corey, you can sit.
We're gonna see who. We're gonna walk around.
First. You sit first, I'll first.
There we go. Taylor!
I think this is intimidating.
Sit, Jorge.
Sit down.
Please, Jorge, please. Also, guys, is the plan, are we taking questions from the audience at some point?
Yeah.
Excellent, okay, great. This is the Q&A, folks. We're getting live.
All right.
Go ahead and take a seat, everybody. I want to get to the audience questions as soon as possible, but I would like to start with everybody up here, except for Taylor and Ralph. I just want to get your three perspective. You just saw that documentary. How do you feel after having, Bobby, we'll start with you.
Asleep 2 weeks in. No, I'm kidding. It was absolutely amazing. It was, it's what Lost is. It's that. It's looking out here and going, I know her, I know him because of Lost, I know him because of Lost, I know her because of Lost. He owes me $20,000. It's that. We're all here because I love that show, and I'm sitting on stage talking about it. I don't know why. It's because we all love it so much. We're all here, and there's a reason for that. That show meant a lot to many people.
Jorge, over to you real quick. I know that you've been talking about the show now for 20 years, but what are you feeling right now getting to see this experience and this sort of summation of that community?
Well, in this past year, I have been trying to process that it has been 20 years. And then I saw this, and it is such a sweet and touching tribute. There's people I met when I was down here before we started that later showed up on this, and I was like, oh, holy shit, oh, and there's like stuff like that, and I was like, oh, please say hi again, because now that I've seen your confessional, it's just so much more touching. It's this, like I said, it's this thing we do in the jungle, and you don't know that it's going to rush in and touch people where they live in their hearts, and it has definitely done a lot in that, in my ability to process that it's been 20, and just like, it's done good for 20, you know, it's done a lot, and I really do appreciate the love, and just, I'm really proud of it. Well done.
I saw a 4-hour version of this, and they kept
It's the 4-hour cut!
Released the Taylor cut. Yes. Taylor's version. Hey, what era are we in? I'm profoundly moved that I was in it, and there's a lot of footage they kept for me, so thank you. The Cancer Gets Lost, and thank you to all the fans who not only are part of this fandom, but have a genuine, true interest in helping other human beings. This is quite obvious, what you saw here. Not just the fans, the cast, the crew, the creative team. I think that Literally, this is the documentary that brought us together. This is the reason we're here. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, also too, if we can just, I know there's a lot of people in here tonight who have also probably contributed to Getting Lost, to the documentary, worked on it. Just a round of applause for everybody who had a chance to work on it. Thank you guys so much. Last question before I want to open it up. You guys knew what the fan community was like. You guys knew what Lost meant to yourselves personally, and also I'm sure you had an idea of what it meant to so many other people. But then you guys made this movie. Was there anything that surprised you? Was there any sort of profound moments where you were like, oh, this was even bigger than we had envisioned? What was it like actually crafting this thing, putting it together? Talk about some of those moments.
It was all a surprise. It was all a surprise. We went into this almost 3 years ago. Started this up, and you know, there's difficult things that came up during our process. We showcased it here, but I think Taylor handled it well. The applause break that Caleb got for talking about the flashbacks, how you used to be and how you strive to be like. I'm so glad you guys love that because I feel like that was important to the story that kind of reared its ugly head when we came in. And I think it's true. I think it's true. If anything, Lost is about a group of broken people. My voice is shot. But it's you know, that's what Lost is. It's about redemption, and I'm glad that got through that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
That was
emotions.
quite the hurdle to be presented with.
Yeah, we were a year and a half in when that article dropped. No, I think the surprise, the thing we were shocked or, like I knew Lost fans were awesome, right? I'm a Lost fan. I knew the community was welcoming and strong, and we lift each other up, and we make friends from all over the world, and I would see online like the get-togethers in Hawaii that I couldn't afford to go to, the other ones, you know, the concerts and all these great things. But I had no idea you guys were going to show up like this. Like when we announced this a year and a half ago, all of you showed up out of the woodwork to support this, and then people who worked on the show showed up, fans of the show showed up. We would ask people, hey, we want to tell the story of Lost. Who's in? And it was shocking. There's so many people here right now that we couldn't have made this movie without all of your help. And it's overwhelming. It's emotional. Like I knew Lost fans were cool, but I didn't know it was going to be like this.
Every single person in this theater right now supported us in some way, whether it's showing up to do an interview, whether it's Indiegogo support, whether it's friends and family who were there and helping us through it. My wife, Stevie, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for putting up with my bullshit for the last 3 years. It's been like, this thing was nuts. I don't know, like, Taylor called me almost 3 years ago and was like, hey, you want to do this? I'm like, no.
That's true.
He talked me into it. He said, you can't mess it up. Just let's do it. And I said, okay. And we're like, wouldn't it be cool if we got so-and-so? And it would be cool. And we did get so-and-so. And so-and-so's great in the movie. It was Bob.
It's Bobby.
I'm mad at Matthew Fox. That was the best.
Right. Yeah, right.
All right, I would love to open it up to the audience so that we can get some questions for these interviewees and filmmakers, but I lied. I have one last question before we open it up, which is to Bobby. Bobby, where's the fish biscuit machine now? Where did you leave it? Where's it moved to?
I can't tell you. It is currently Perk City on its way to my house in Los Angeles because I have finally made enough room. This helped too, like thinking about Lost again, I went like, what am I doing? I gotta get the fish biscuit. For divorce. No. My wife is the greatest person in the world. Just side note, this is a real thing that happened when I went on my first date with my wife. I was a huge Lost fan. She hadn't seen it yet, and she took me to this. She's on Broadway for many years. She took me to this very fancy Broadway restaurant, and I opened the door, and it was just Michael Emerson standing there, and I was like, "It's Ben. He found me." I was so excited. And the reason why we're married is because I was like, "Do you understand what just happened?" On a first date with this woman, I was like, "That's the greatest thing!" And I lost my mind like a child. That's all that. But she was like, "You were so happy, it was so wonderful." They're kind of, I mean, getting lost is a huge thing. It's not your mom. I can't fucking believe it. Hi, nice to meet you.
Can I, just real quick while we're talking about wives, my wife, Emily, who you met today, did not work in film, she left her real job, one with the health insurance, come do this project for all of you, and she is the greatest film producer I've ever worked with. And I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy we're all here, and my lovely wife, all my friends, all my new friends, my family. Stop it.
Emily's amazing, by the way.
She is amazing.
Taylor and I were doing this for a while before she came on board, and her spreadsheet skills are immense.
The only reason any of you are here, your name was on the list.
Spreadsheets.
Folks, let's open it up to questions. I'm going to come to you with the microphone, so if you've got one, I'm going to come to you. You can go ahead and raise your hand. Here I come, right this way. I'm going to hand the microphone down. Let's go ahead and pass that in.
Guys, pay attention. Pay attention to those questions. Hi, Faith.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you
Aloha.
for coming. That was an amazing film, Taylor, that made us laugh and cry and gave us inspiration and hope. So can we just give that a round of applause? And the quick thing I want to share with those of you that weren't on the island, I was blessed to be with Jorge and Maggie Grace and Matthew Fox. And I guess a little share is what Josh Holloway mentioned. He had put those 17 years in. When we filmed that pilot, he was like done. And a lot of us were going through a lot of things at that time, whether professionally or personally. And we were like so blessed to be in that moment in time together as a team. And as a young actor, I was getting advice and encouragement and life stories and inspiration. And that show did that for us when we filmed it. And look at what it's doing 20 years later with all of you coming together. So may Lost continue to shine and all of you continue to grow together, and hopefully we'll see you at the next screening.
That's a good question.
Hey guys, I'm Christina. This is my husband Sam. Thanks again for everything. Taylor and Ralph, one thing that was a little absent from the documentary, which is so selfless of you, is like your experience as a Lost fan when you were watching it. And I know a little bit about you guys, but like, what was it about Lost when you were watching it that you think gave you this motivation in your future to make it into a documentary and to spend your filmmaking skills and time to make this doc?
It's a fucking kick-ass show. Like Emily said that. No, it's like, I make documentaries and they're all semi-autobiographical. So it's just, that's my journey with Lost. Like I watched the pilot, it was crazy. Walkabout changed television. I was listening to the podcasts and on the message boards, and then I met all of you. And then that's what matters. And we sneak in a story about Josh Holloway doing an accent and everybody laughs. But, you know, I don't need to be in it to just say, like, that was my experience. And it's shared. Most of you have the same experience. And I met Ralph because he had a Lost podcast 18 years ago. And we were Facebook friends when Facebook was brand new. And so 15 years later, I was like, hey, Ralph, what if we did a movie about Lost and we got it done just in time for the 20th anniversary of Lost?
But I can't believe it's today. I cannot believe it's today. Remember 2021 said, okay, if we want to get it done for the 20th anniversary, we've got to do it on the day, and we've got to start now.
And we were almost late, and it's J.J. Abrams' fault.
Yeah, that JJ interview last month. It was 1
Yeah.
month ago, it was the 7th.
By the way, I also met Ralph because they had a Lost podcast. I would get texts from Ralph, and he'd be like, "We wrapped shooting." I was like, "Right on, congratulations, you guys did great." And then all of a sudden he's like, "We're still shooting," and he'll send me a picture of someone like, "Oh, good get, nice cover."
It snowballed. It really snowballed.
Right at the end. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just open that edit right back up.
Next question over here.
Hey guys, I'm James. Thank you so much for having us all out here today.
Thanks for supporting us.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. In the effort to kind of keep the discussion going that we've all rallied around in this community, I want to ask something that might be a little polarizing, but I still want to hear all your takes on it. Some point down the line, it might be the 30th or 40th anniversary, but if someone ever tries to pick up the IP and continue the canon, what's one piece of advice you would have for them? Whether it's right or wrong for them to do it in the first place, what can you all share as some of the biggest and best Lost fans?
Don't do it.
I'm gonna do it.
You should probably do it.
I'm telling you that. But it comes from a place of love for the show, and I think that's where it should start. I think it should be all the kids. I think it should be all the kids. I think it should be Clementine, all the kids, all the old ones. I got an idea. Muppets, do you want to come? Do you want to hang out forever? What do you want for that? I'm not kidding at all.
What if ABC Studios gave you a call and said, we're thinking of doing it? Would you bring her
You'd be the
back?
guy.
I'd like to read the script.
Funny you should say that. I have the Dharma biscuit machine, and now I have a crumpled Dharma biscuit. I'm gonna steal 10 more before I go. But
Next question over here.
First off, the documentary was amazing.
Thank you.
You did an amazing job. Just like watching the whole production, go from start to finish is amazing. I don't have a question, but more of a thank you to the cast of the show. I don't know if you fully understand, just the magic you made happen. My father was a single dad, and we loved the show. We were obsessed. Every week we would theorize. And 2 years and 3 days ago, he was in the hospital. And before he passed away, one of the last things he said to me the day before was that he hoped it was like the ending of Lost. And I told him it was. It definitely was. And that's how much of an impact you've made, on somebody's way out. You gave them hope. So it's not just a show. Thank you.
We go next question over.
Kind of piggybacking off that, sorry?
I said, no, happier.
It's not like that, I get it. But the fact that I am known around my hometown and my friends and the bar as, oh, if you talk to him long enough, he's going to bring up Lost. And every good-looking person that I talk to at the bar, they just take bets on how long it's going to be for me to talk about Lost. And they ask about the tattoos and all that stuff. But I've noticed while watching this, and also because of everybody here, this more little subculture, I guess, is totally validated in how they feel about it and what they
are as like who they are in their identity. And then I was also thinking you cast a lot of early interviews of improvisers, and improvisers are also another warped subculture who are kind of weird and outcasts. And then I think about your, hey, you were my teacher, so. And then I remember picking up the ska documentary, and for 30 years of my life, I mean, I was in a ska band, and I still to this day love ska, and that's weird to say in public. So it's these fringe groups that you seem to gravitate towards, Taylor, and I'm wondering, thank you? No, it's great. You're giving a voice to these small groups, and this was incredibly validating, and you absolutely proved it. And I'm wondering, what other subculture groups would you be fascinated in covering?
I know. I'm not gonna say.
Australian breakdancing.
That's it.
Sorry, I'm taking a sneak peek. We're all gonna end up here when we die. We'll all meet right here.
Also, like, one of the reasons we got Bobby, and he was one of the early sort of people come on.
They had the idea, and I just went.
But Bobby listened to my podcast as well. Listen to the Dharma.
I met Jay and Jack tonight. It was a great night.
Fun fact is, the older guy, did you know he tried out from the
I've been talking to him forever, but I finally got to meet him. I've made this for me today.
That's why you're here.
We got the next question over here.
Hi, this question is for Jorge. So Hurley was such an important character to bring happiness to parts of the show that felt so intense and would just get your heart rate up at so many times. And two huge moments from the show that were pivotal in that was driving the Dharma van and also the golf course. So I wanted to ask you what that was like behind the scenes, and also did you guys use that golf course between sets, and who was the best golfer? So
no, because the location of the golf course was not usually worked, and they might have just filled it in after we were done with it. I remember there was a time they were doing these. They had this idea they were trying to do these mobisodes. Did those ever surface?
Yeah.
And there was a golf thing, and that
Sean was in it.
Sean Whalen starred Motherson.
That was a weird. We're like, but the van was a blast, and there's these. I did a few things for Hulu social media. Some of them have already dropped, and there is one where they wanted me to watch key scenes in Lost, and one was the band Jumpstart moment, and just watch it. I haven't seen the scene in forever. I'm just watching it, and it goes so long, the suspense, and then the sound drops out, and Michael's music comes in, and I'm like, it was just like Emily was like, woo! Goosebumps! That was a good show.
And good show.
Can I tell the story about us in Hawaii? Just speaking of goosebump moment, I'm just telling that story, and I was just like, when I got married, my wife, we did a bunch of stuff in Hawaii. We did like a normal adult human wedding, and then we did some lost stuff also. But we met up with Jorge, and we got to do. Jorge was like, "There's a Lost-themed escape room in Hawaii, but I don't feel comfortable going by myself." Coming with me, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So me and my wife and we went. Yeah, we all went, and it was a Lost-themed escape room. And when we walked in the door, they were like, "What the?" That had no clue what was happening. It was very Lost themed, and I have this very distinct memory of you pulling shelves off of a wall and a bunch of books falling, and it was just a door that said quarantine. I almost pissed myself. It was the greatest, and then we lost, and you got super mad at me. We lost by like 30 seconds, and it was...
Is it because Jorge forgot?
We were really close. We were trying to solve a thing. It's like, wait, we could have just process of elimination.
And I was like, do it, Harry! And he's like, shut up!
Too late. So we have a sad picture of all. It was like,
It was totally my fault. Was there a test about the numbers in there?
Man, I'm trying to remember the puzzles and the thing. There was something where it's like, it was half the numbers. You had to like hold the mirror, use the mirror to see where you would like open up. And he's like, oh, or you had to, it was like two numbers mirrored image. So it'd be like a shape like this, and like, oh, and then you put a thing over it. Oh no, that's a 2, and then you found like those numbers there. A lot of hieroglyphs. Wasn't there like a remote control, like it was like a Jurassic Park kind of Jeep that we had?
Ladies and gentlemen, escape rooms with
The next documentary. We're just here to announce our new podcast.
No escape.
We got the next question down here. This question's for like everyone.
Oh, no.
But Lost had so many great theories, and the fans had so many great theories. What was your favorite theory that a fan was actually right about?
Are you trying to bait us, Jack? No. Okay.
As long as Jack from Jay and Jack. Thank you for the There were so many theories that everybody had to have gotten everything right. If you play enough, throw enough dice, you're gonna roll 6s, right? Like, you had to have heard every theory as the show was being made and go, well, I guess.
Yeah, I only have favorite theories that were wrong.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrong, I've excelled in that excessively on my blog. I remember telling you, Jorge, this theory. I'm like, okay, Daniel Faraday went back in time and he programmed for Charlie. He knew Charlie was a musician. He knew Charlie would know the Beatles song, and he's the one who programmed down there. He knew everything that was going to happen. And you look at me and you go, no. It was like a live response to my blog. It was great.
I learned like because when I even dipped my foot in the podcasting world at the end of the show.
Geronimo Jack Spear!
And then sometimes we would answer like emails with theories, and I learned that people don't want to be told that they're wrong. So you had to change my answer, being like, oh, same idea.
You did it to me. You did it to me. I said,
well, it took me a while to learn, but hopefully eventually.
I had mentioned to you, I think it was on Jack's podcast, that when they come out of the church at the end, they would open up out through Echo's church and live as whispers on the island. And you were like, no.
It's an interesting theory.
Right, but we were already done by then. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, we didn't shoot any of that.
Not to brag, but there was a theory that it came up on the first episode of season 6 about the flash sideways and when they occurred. And then when the finale of season 6, you called me and said, you were right, you got it. And I was so excited. I was so excited to get that validation from you. But because you were like, I think you sent me a text, have you watched it yet? Have you watched the finale? Yeah, it's Friday, of course I did. And you're like, how's it feel to be right? Yeah.
So my favorite one that was wrong was someone said that when we were in the air, we were all cloned. And the story was really about our clones. You're watching a clone show. That's my favorite. So who's taking credit for it? Who was it?
I can't take credit for that, but you can't prove that that's not what happened. I still like that one. Any questions over here? Question right here.
Hey guys, I'm Emma. I have a question for you, Taylor. How many times did you edit and re-edit and re-edit and re-edit?
Well, you know, they say that like a work of art isn't ever finished, it's only abandoned.
And a deadline. No, there was a rough cut of this movie a while ago, you know, and then Evangeline Lilly called, and then we did it again, and then JJ called, and we did it again. I mean, I've just watched it, and I'm editing it in my head. I could lose that. It's done, but how many times? It was constant. It was constant. We had a sizzle reel that we started cutting in the first week, and the first version of that was just
for those with the bingo card.
people on stage right now. We would cut that sizzle, and that's what we would send out to Josh Holloway. And he'd go, "Oh, that looks cool. I'll be in your movie." And we put Josh in it. We send it to Terry. Terry sees it. And we put Terry in it. We send it to, you know, and it's that game. So I've been editing this movie as long as we've been shooting it. And it's never going to be enough time, and editing is hard, and movies are hard. And thank God we have all these people to help us do it, because there's a lot of times when I definitely wanted to quit, to quote Evangeline Lilly, and David and Carlton. It's hard. Making anything is hard. It's a miracle that there are any movies or any TV shows. And this was nowhere near as hard as Lost was, I'm sure, for 6 years. This only took us 3 years. So that's half.
I have a follow-up. Can you let the folks know when you finished this movie for this screening?
Oh, you mean yesterday?
Yep. Yesterday.
Deadlines.
Next question down here.
Hey everybody, my name is Billy. First of all, thank you to everyone in the cast and crew for the passion and the long nights, I'm sure, for putting together this wonderful documentary, for the cast even for taking the time out of your lives to just spend so much time into putting together such a memorable masterpiece. You know, there's nothing better than Lost fans, am I right? So, my question is geared towards everybody. I would ask, what was the most memorable moment from putting together this documentary, and for Jorge too, even in filming the show?
Your question's better than mine.
Filming the show memorable moment? Oh, man. A moment, just when you asked it, the moment that did stick into my head was the scene when Locke is trying to convince Jack to punch the numbers into the computer. And I have maybe 1 or 2 lines in that scene, but the rest, I'm just an audience member in it. And I'm watching this scene, and Terry, when he's like, "It's never been easy," I felt that moment, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good." I was like, I'm watching a really great performance in this moment, and I was kind of like, and so that moment has, just left an indelible just mark in my brain of that, just being on set at that moment.
We can't follow that.
Good call, good call. Next question.
Hi, I'm Samuel. Wow, thank you. This has been an incredible day. It's been life-changing just being here. I've moved here from the UK to pursue my career in film and television. This show massively inspired me. And it's so amazing to see it continue to inspire and give hope to so many people. There are so many incredible moments in the show, we know, like from the pilot to Jack and Locke opening up the hatch right the way through to the end. Everyone has their favorite moments. some more deeper than others. I just want to say it because I know she's right over there. But Maggie Grace in the scene before she dies is one of the most impactful scenes that's just stuck with me. As a queer person, the line, sorry, and I know this has probably a lot of emotional memory for you as well, Maggie, because it was the last scene you did on the show, but when you said you're just going to leave me, I know as soon as we get out of here, you're just going to leave me. It's something which has always resonated with me, and I think it probably does for a lot of fans too, who maybe have felt abandoned in their life at some point or another. Sorry. Do you have a scene or a moment that a bit like Shannon and a bit like all of us, people forget about, but has a really deep meaning because it was very, very personal? That is one for me. And how did that shape and change you and like impact your love and dedication to the show? It really shows on screen how much you love it, but is there one moment or scene that is specifically deeply personal? And just I want to wrap up and say again, thank you so much. This is incredibly meaningful to me, my life, my journey, and hopefully my career. I'm wanting to write a feature inspired by the film. I'm working on that right now, and I'd love to speak to someone who can help me. First draft already done. But going back to my question, a scene or a moment which is just incredibly deeply personal, that you go, no one ever mentions that. I'd love to know what that is for you.
Well, I put all mine in the documentary because I got to do that. The short answer is I'm a dog person, and so all the Vincent stuff.
Can I say I loved the Oz when my cat Vesper showed up? That was from the 2009, 2010 documentary about podcasters that Alex did. It warmed my heart. And I'm gonna go sleep in a hotel tonight and miss her because she's still around here.
Can we get a hand for Alex who shot all that footage in 2010? I remember hearing about his documentary when I was still trying to be a rock star and had no intention of making films, and I was like, oh, that's cool, somebody's making a documentary about Lost. That's neat, I want to watch that. And I did. I saw it.
And then I never finished it, and I get a call from Ralph, and yeah, here you go.
Thank you.
Well, I was in that documentary, I bugged him to cut me out of the footage that was in ours. I'm like, please don't. I look like a deer in headlights.
I just, when I see the turn the camera.
I love that.
Oh yeah. That's been in like every version, the 4-hour all the way down. I'm like, oh boy.
One more thing, I think something I regretted when I shot my footage was that I didn't get any footage of Jen. I thought what you did was beautiful.
Make it so if you're ever online and want to shoot a message to Ryan, who's usually at Hawaii, Ryan goes and grabs out on every social media, go give him a shout out and talk to Kate. They're around. Yeah.
We got next question over here.
Hi. First, Taylor, that was incredible. Thank you for that. My name is Lacey. I'm also a Lost podcaster. Ours came out 3 years ago today. And here, leading up to the 20th anniversary, and Taylor was gracious enough to give us actually a 90-minute interview where I picked his brain about this film. The podcast is called Lost in My 40s, if you want to listen to it. But my question is for Jorge, and I wanted to know how you felt when you first read the script that revealed that Hurley was Jacob's replacement.
Well, it's on the DVD extra. The whole script, there's the whole bit, yeah, it's the whole script story. And when you see it arrive at my house, we had it all by mailboxes that had locks on them and stuff. And they'd say, hey, we want the DVD guy to come over and shoot you.
well, yeah, Jason, I'm gonna come and shoot you while you read the script. And I was like, ooh, I'm not a fast reader. I'm not, just cut to my parts. But, he just sat there and just hanging out as I was reading it, and then it started getting closer to that moment, and I start realizing what's happening, and I do believe that somehow the energy in the room felt the change, because he picks up his camera and just starts suddenly rolling, and I could also, just out of the periphery, I go, he's noticing it too, and yeah, I got emotional. He caught it.
A shout out to everybody asking a question here in LA, sharing an emotional moment, and then networking. That's how we do it.
Shooting the scene was harder because Damon and Carlton showed up on set, and I'm like, I gotta do the scene in front of the bosses. So I just grabbed my chair and I just dragged it deep into the woods and just sat under a tree, and I go, come get me when you need me. I need to sit here and be by myself because I can't deal with that at the moment. And that worked out, right?
Worked out pretty good.
Was another question? Okay, I got one here. There was another one in here. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. Next question.
Well, first off, thank you for extending the Lost universe for all of us tonight, because it carries it out another 20 years with something new that we could all enjoy. But my question is, my +1 couldn't make it here tonight, got stuck up in Portland. How can other people see this movie? Where will it be out in the world?
Not important?
That is the most common question we get. My phone has 50 of that question right now. Where can we see it? Where can we see it? We're working on it. We don't know. It will be available later this year because we're not going to not capitalize on the 20th anniversary year. But right now it's theaters like this, film festivals. It's playing theatrically. I don't know if I can talk about the thing that the people in the back of the room are doing, but I can? Cool. It's playing in theaters in Canada, all across the country in November. That's going to be very cool. You're going to see that announced. It's probably already, I've been here. I don't know what the internet's saying. Yeah, so we're doing a theatrical bit, and then we got to get the digital copies and the Blu-rays out to all the Indiegogo backers, who I think are mostly in this room. And then it's going to be out for everybody. So then it's on you to tell everyone you've ever met to go rent this movie so that we can make another one. Thank you.
Woody.
First off, I just wanted to say thank you for tonight. It was mind-blowing. We've made a lot of friends throughout the years, and I couldn't be more grateful. My husband and I couldn't be more grateful. Actually, when we met together in Lost for the first time was 2017, and we met in the church, and that was the day we got married. And we were in our getup, and also the same year, Caleb and Luke got married as well, so we all share the same anniversary. But this community has brought all of us together, so my question is, we want to celebrate you guys and continue the Lost, continue Cancer Gets Lost. So we should celebrate you guys every year and get together and hang out and just talk about Lost. Joe?
It's going to be like Inception. You guys want to come to my place and a documentary about the documentaries
I get asked this question a lot, and as you know, Kelly organized Lost 2014 and Lost 2017. A lot of y'all were at that event. They were fan events in Hawaii. There was going to be Lost 2020, and then the pandemic happened. Who knows? It's not. I'm not an event planner, but people have asked for. Excuse me. People have asked for events. not in Hawaii, so I think if there's potential, if people are interested in doing it, absolutely. And Cancer Gets Lost will absolutely be there with an auction.
Did we do it?
You tell me, I have no idea.
I'm on my watch.
Yeah.
We got a party to get to.
Yeah, we have a party to go to. Okay, we got time for one more question right here in the front, and then we'll party.
First of all, just real quick, there is so much fucking love in this room. I want you to give yourselves a round of applause. Cross fans are the best, most devoted fans in the freaking world. With that said, we're a little selfish. We would love to see that 4-hour version. Maybe with Joe, maybe even do a special limited edition, just like Lord of the Rings did with their extended version, and dedicate part of it in the name of cancer.
Yeah,
There you go.
good idea.
Any thought? Would anyone pay to see a 4-hour version?
Get back to the edit bay, Taylor. That's fun.
The plan, there are people in this room. Yeah, just going on. Step backwards. There are a lot of people in this room who were very gracious and gave us really long, really thoughtful interviews about this show. And we ended up with way too much footage, as is commonly the case in documentary filmmaking. And the plan, at least in the back of my overworked and underslept mind, is that's what the Blu-ray and the digital extras are going to be. It's another 5-6 hours of Jorge not remembering the numbers.
I'm guilty of that too. I was so glad you didn't show that.
We asked every single person we interviewed the numbers, and it was staggering, the ratio of people that didn't know it.
That footage will see the light of day. We're going to figure it out, and just follow us on social media, and we'll drop clips. We'll put stuff out there. It's a lot of work to edit all that footage. So it might just 3 hours of main food are just talking about props. It's good stuff. We've got it. It's in the can. The beer can. The Dharma beer
We're
can.
selfish. You did a great job, though. 2 hours, beautiful. When we were laughing, we were crying. We love you. Thank you so much for making it.
Thank you all.
Let's give it up for Jorge, Taylor, Tommy, Joe,